It's Russell back with Gwinnett Lawns and beautiful. Oh, look at that sky. Atlanta, Georgia. Today is October the 29th, 2024. Look at there. The leaves are falling. So I was, as I was getting ready this morning, I watched one of my favorite people on YouTube, Johnny with Upscale. And he was talking, he has several questions. He always asks questions in his video, so I'm going to do the same thing. And he brought up a very interesting point that I have pondered today. He asked about how many people, and this is the question I'm going to ask you guys, how many of you guys still are going to be doing lawn service throughout the winter? Now, being that it's Atlanta, you can see that the leaves are starting to fall, obviously, but the Bermuda is going dormant. Not so much because of the temperature, but because we haven't had any rain in probably 5 weeks. And it's very dusty. I'm not complaining, but what's happening here is that the Bermuda is starting to go dormant. It's almost pretty much not growing. And if I have customers that they don't have a lot of leaves on their yard, they'll just flat out say, hey, you know, appreciate the service this year, but I think we're good for the season. What about my gravy? I came out to your house when the grass was 8 inches tall and it rained 10 days prior. But it doesn't happen like that. So around here, there are a couple of things that are, shall we say, ingrained. Number one is almost everybody, 99% of my customers only want bi-weekly service. Unless you're prepared to cut the price in half, which is no bueno because we're doing the same thing, you are not going to get somebody to service their yard weekly. Now, I had a few, but they've either died, the customers either died or the house got sold. So I only have one more left. And that's a zoysia yard. So my fescue yard that I did for the last 5 years, that I would do 52 weeks a year, and it had leaves and it was flat, which I love flat yards. Hold on, excuse my alarm here. The house is sold. She actually passed away. It was very sad. She was one of my favorite customers. But anyway, so that's the question. Are you going to be mowing at all throughout the winter? Now, what's very interesting is he said that around this time, and keep in mind that he's in Louisiana, and it's hotter in Louisiana than here, and I believe there's different grass. Johnny, if you watch this video, you'll have to, I don't think there's Bermuda. I don't think you have Bermuda like we have here. Almost 99% of the yards here are Bermuda. We do have some zoysia and some centipede, and then the other yards, weeds. There's a few, if you get somebody in their backyard, they may have fescue. But in this county, Bermuda is king. So it goes dormant. It's a warm season grass, just like the centipede and Bermuda. I mean, the zoysia will, centipede, they'll all go dormant. They'll just basically turn the color of a manila folder, and it's done until about March. So he said that he converts, or he tries to get the people to go to a monthly service. So I'm not sure. I was a little sleepy this morning. I'm not sure if the grass is still growing a little bit there, or if maybe they're just, you know, keeping the place tidy, you know, leaves, whatever. Now, my customers that have leaves, I just keep coming back on schedule every 2 weeks unless they tell me, hey, we're good. I made the mistake one year of emailing everybody around this time saying, hey, do you want us to come back and get the leaves? That was a mistake because 90% of the customers said, oh, don't worry about it, we'll do it. Well, they never do it, and then it ends up being a debacle. It's not good to have wet leaves sitting, especially on dormant grass, because you can get a lot of fungus and all that. It's not good. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna be proactive and I'm just gonna keep coming back, and it works out really good. But that's leaf. So around December-ish, right, the leaves have pretty much all fallen around Christmas. So now you have people that call that want leaf cleanups that are not my customers, my mowing customer, and they have the whole season's worth of leaves on their yard. Now we're getting into some, $350, $450 leaf cleanups, if I can even do them. And people know, because hauling away leaves here is not a thing. Everybody mulches them. I've never, except a governmental municipality like a city, I've never seen a landscaper with a debris loader. Up north, those things are really, I guess they're everywhere because they have so many leaves to deal with. They actually, pull it behind, maybe it's a trailer. They got a box on their pickup, but they're sucking those leaves up with the vacuum, and it grinds them up and all that, and they take it to the landfill. If I had one of those here, I couldn't justify paying for it because they're not going to do it. People just, that's not a thing. I've had a couple people ask me about it. They want the leaves removed from the property, and unless it's a special circumstance, I'm just not gonna do that. I have a 5x8 trailer. You guys have seen my debris trailer. That's more for doing like a lot of bushes or the bed cleanup, stuff like that, where it's more than I could fit in the back of the pickup. But I'm not hauling leaves away. It's just too expensive. I would have to charge for my labor and going back and forth to the dump, and then you got dump fees because it's not free around here. So that's the question. Are you guys gonna keep mowing throughout the winter? Do you do winter services where you come back like once a month? I think that's a great idea. I've never had anybody ask me, but what I did today is I've got some customers, their yard, this was the final cut. Their yard's, it's just dormant. There's no trees, it's just not growing. So I sent them an email, said, this will be the final service. And, if you need others, pine straw, mulch, bush services, leaf services, if your neighbor's leaves blow in the yard, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see what happens there. But those yards, there's nothing to do. The grass just isn't growing. And it's usually these new developments that they didn't prepare the soil. They just took the sod, threw it on the clay, watered it for a while, and called it good. No bueno. They do that in these new subdivisions. They do not prepare. They'll run the skid steer over it with the Harley rake, drop the Bermuda down. It's just amazing. I've seen so many neighborhoods, it's taken the grass literally years and years before it started to actually grow worth a flip. Nobody's gonna, unless you're paying somebody to do your own house and they know what they're doing, they come in and bring topsoil and, work it in the soil, because this clay here, the Bermuda doesn't mind it, but it takes a while. If you just throw the sod on clay, you better water it or it's gonna die. So, but yes, that's the question, is what are you gonna be doing outside of leaf cleanups? And are you gonna be servicing any of your customers? And if anybody has an idea about how I can approach my customers because I don't know if that would fly here. It's just like weekly services. Now you guys up north that cut, the fescue grows 8 or 9 inches a week, you don't have a choice. And people up there, that's a thing, they know it. But down here, trying to get these Bermuda, especially, in the middle of June and July, if it rains a lot in the summer, ooh, and they expect you, to cut it. I can't raise the price on them because their grass grew more. I wish I could. I wish I could cut it by height, charge them by height, but that's not gonna fly. But anyway, I'm just watching all the leaves falling. So in the next couple of weeks, it will get inundated with leaves. The neighborhood we were just in had like these red maples in the entire neighborhood. Everybody had one maple. They're called conservation neighborhoods. They have the sidewalk, and instead of having 18-inch strip between the curb and the sidewalk, they have a 3-foot strip. Thankfully, Gwinnett County stopped requiring builders to do that because it's horrible, because these trees, everybody's got red maple, you know, and there's the streets just like covered with leaves, and they blow in everybody's yard, and it's horrible. Because if you got a customer and you got the yard nice and clean and the wind's blowing like this, when they get home, it looks like you didn't do anything. So always take pictures if your customers have any questions. But so yeah, I'll start getting emails and estimates for people wanting leaf cleanups. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something that's really weird, and I also would like for you to comment and tell me if this happens to you. In December, I will get a flood of people wanting lawn service for next year, right? So the grass is dormant now in December, and there's a lot of, like, I pick up a lot of customers that are, these are the people that you really want, because they're proactive. They're not waiting till, you know, the beginning of March when the grass is starting to grow. I've historically always gotten quite a few customers during that time. So it is absolutely amazing. Do you guys find that in December, maybe going into January a little bit, you pick up more lawn customers for the next season? I always thought that was weird, because I'll just start getting, you know, 2-3 emails a day about wanting lawn service. So anyway, that's what it is. It's dusty. The truck is dusty. I'm dusty. But it is so beautiful out here. It's about 71, 72 degrees. And it's just going to be like this for another couple of weeks as far as I know. But so I'm not going to... See all these leaves on my yard? I just leave them. What's going to happen is all the leaves will fall, and this oak tree, the wind normally blows out of the west. The west is that way, so it blows this way. And that gigantic, those oak trees right there, they'll all drop and fall all in my yard, and we'll have some winters that have some blustery days, and they just blow whoop, right on out, blow on down the street. And it literally will look like I mowed the yard. Like, there won't be any leaves left. I am gonna probably do one more cut, but if I cut it now, there's a little bit of green still in it. If I cut it now, then there's not gonna be much green left. So I'll do probably one final service before Thanksgiving, depending on how the leaves do. And plus, if I cut it a little bit lower, it'll let the leaves, it'll make it easier. But the people on that side of the street, they get all the leaves. So that's just the way it happens. For once, I'm on the right side of the tracks. But anyway, tell me those 2 questions. Put it down in the comments. Let me know. And I hope you guys have a awesome fall season. I hope you get a lot of leaf jobs if you're doing that. And I would like to know, if you are in the South, anywhere in the South, do you have landscapers around you that use the debris loaders? Is that even a thing? I don't know. I've just never seen one. Like, never. Other than a municipality or city. Some of the cities, you can push the leaves to the curb and they'll come by and suck them up. But anyway, all right, guys, I am going to go in and get me something to eat. I'm hungry, and I will talk to you guys on the next video.